Hey there everyone, another video, not a progress update this time. We're going to go through the version 2.3 build of the Community Theme Creator and go over the new features and some of the new additions. As and when they pop up, I'll cover some of the changes and possibly some of the fixes. But all this stuff will be documented and included when I finally roll this out to the forum, and that should be less than a week. Okay, I've just got some additional testing to do. All right, so let's get into the app. Let's see. I think we'll talk about the user interface changes a little bit. And as I'm on a text list, this is actually a good place to start. So the games list here on the left is actually represented over here in the text list, and it's active. So as you make the selection on the left, it will affect the text list on the right. Not only that, the text list control itself that's being displayed here is exactly the same control that's used when you publish your theme and run your theme via BigBox. So it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same object, and therefore it will behave exactly the same. So the beauty of that is what you see in the editor here is essentially what you're going to see in BigBox. Let's go into the editor real quick. I have changed the scaling methods or processes within this secondary window here, your elements and properties panel. I noticed in Farron or Brian's live streams on YouTube when he was demonstrating how to do certain things within the Community Theme Creator, I noticed that his panel, the fonts here are much smaller in this section than they are here, and that is to do with how he's set up his window scaling percentage for his display settings. So anyway, I've fixed all that, and I've tried various scaling percentages, 100% all the way up to 300% on different machines and different aspect ratios, and it will always look like this, and the font sizes will always be consistent. The other thing too that you may notice is that I don't have this dead space over here anymore. This I think it was a very dark, but well, it was whatever this background color is. It's not black, but it's a very dark gray, and there was always this reserved area all the way down here for the vertical toolbar, vertical slider, regardless if it was there or not. So in its place, what I've done, I've got a custom slider now, and when your mouse pointer is not over it, it will disappear into a very thin vertical slider, and that way the content panel is fully visible from left to right, so there's no dead space now. It's all equal spacing. So it's just little things like that. Double clicking on the GamePad is not just for looks anymore. It will actually control what game is selected, what platform is selected. So it will affect your metadata values, images, videos, text, animations, etc. As you navigate through the virtual gamepad. All right. So I think that's pretty much it for. Oh, that's not pretty much it for UI changes or interface changes. Let's see. We've got a couple of new additions up here, and I'll cover these in a moment. But enable all badges and enable visibility conditioning. So I can talk about visibility conditioning. Prior to version 2.3, visibility condition was always disabled in the editor, and that allowed you as the designer to see absolutely everything on screen, regardless of the conditions that you've added. However, there may be scenarios where you want to remain in the editor and have those conditions active, and therefore, depending on the game or the platform that you've selected, these conditions will kick in, and one thing will be displayed and maybe another thing won't be, and that's exactly what you would be expecting. All right, so that way you're not making a change, hit and save, go into the main preview screen, having a look, seeing if it's okay. If it's not, then go back into the editor, making a tweak and repeating the process. So this way you can actually do all your testing now within the editor itself, so you don't have to kind of save and test and then jump back in again. The other thing too, another menu item I've added under the view option is zooming. So you can zoom up to 500%. And there's shortcuts for this as well. If you just hover over, so you can control and plus and control and the minus key. Or you can press and hold the control key, and if you have a scroll wheel, you can scroll up and down on the scroll wheel, which is what I'm doing right now. And it is sensitive to the location of the mouse pointer. So, for example, the mouse pointer is over the word new. I'm scrolling in or zooming in. It's still kind of focusing on the word new, and I've hit the maximum of 500%. While zoomed in, I can press and hold the space key, space bar, and then press and hold the left mouse button and drag the content around. Okay. So I'll zoom back out. That is pretty much all the UX changes that I at least can remember, but those are the big ones. So let me come out of here. I'll come back to Arcade in a minute, but just a very simple addition to animations. I have added Z order animation. So as you can see, I have this text field here that says hello there, and its default placement is below the white rectangle. And I've told the animation to go from its current Z order, which is below the white rectangle, and I want it to move above the red rectangle. And it has this duration, and it's just going to go back and forth, okay? So we can watch it. It's above green. Oh, now it's above white. It'll go below white. Then above white, above green, above red. And it will just keep repeating the process. So, yeah. So it's almost doing this. You're moving the element above the white rectangle, then the green rectangle, and then the red rectangle, and then it's coming back down again to its default setting. All right. Maybe useful. there might be instances where, depending on a particular situation, a game being selected or a platform being selected, maybe you want to move something from the background, and it's typically hidden that way, and you move it to the foreground for whatever reason, and then push it back into the background again, instead of using visibility conditioning, so it's hidden or visible, instead of that approach. It all depends on the type of theme that you're constructing. So I've just given you the ability to do something a little different, where you can rip through the Z order layers. All right. Let's go back to the arcade. And this one's very busy, but this is actually a very good example where I can demonstrate a couple of things here. Perfect. So I've got this canvas parent control here, and I have one here, and I have nothing in these parent elements. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a new UI element. It's called Video Mirror. And I'm going to drag the first one into this canvas called Reflection Over Controls, and that's here. And I'm just going to resize, or whoops, going to change the height and its placement. And it's within a canvas, so an element within a canvas can actually be larger than the canvas. And I've also set the canvas to clip the region, so it will only show the region within the canvas area here, but I have the ability to move the content within that canvas. And I'll explain in a minute. Let me go down to the properties here for this video mirror. And there's not many properties. You have your basic placement properties. But this one, link to UI element, we have a couple of videos that we can connect to. I want to connect to the main selected item video over here, okay? And there we have it. The other thing I want to do is add an opacity mask. Bottom mask. And because I'm trying to achieve like a pseudo reflection, we have these new properties too now in version 2.3. So you can flip any UI element vertically or horizontally. So in this case, I want to flip it vertically. And I'm going to zoom in. Actually, let me pick a different platform where the background is brighter. Actually, that's not too bad. So the opacity mask, and let me zoom in. The opacity mask, I've created a mask where it's angled on the left and right-hand side in a particular way. Because as you can see, the arcade cabinet here is angled in a similar manner. So I wanted to kind of replicate that shape, if you will. All right. So I'm going to zoom back out. And this is way too bright for a reflection. And I'm actually going to bring that in a little bit here. So let's see, a couple of other things I want to do. I want to add a little blur. because it's not going to be crystal clear as it's reflecting off the surface. And then the opacity, bring it down. Now, some of the properties that you can play with on these UI elements will no longer cause the screen to refresh. It will actually change the values real time as you're altering the values themselves. So that way you get a sense of what value or values you want these properties to be. So I'm just letting you know. That's another change that I've made to the editor here. So again, you know, you don't want it too high. I think I'm just going to set it to 5%. So it's just a very kind of subtle reflection. And now I want to repeat the same process up above. And I can cheat. I can copy and paste in place. Just drag it into the canvas reflection and the marquee. I'm going to do the same thing, alter the height, alter the placement. It's flipped. You can actually see it. Let me just ramp up the opacity so you can see it. But I have another opacity mask because, as you can see, the angle here doesn't match the cabinet angle. It was fine for the bottom, but not for the top. And that's fine. I have a mask for that. Instead of bottom mask, I'm going to use top mask. And there you go. All right. Just bring that in a little bit. And I'm just going to, again, just keep it set. I'm probably going to have this one at 10%. All right. So it's very subtle, but it's kind of a cool effect. And you may have noticed for this platform, I'm running essentially a slideshow, if you will, of all the videos for each of the games for this specific platform that I've selected. All right. So let's take a look at that one. That is, what was it? Video background. This one. And let's see. No, that's selected. Video background is just user-defined video. There you go. This is, yeah, that's it. So I've got a user-defined video playing, and it's set to folder content, and it's looking in the game videos folder for Launchbox. And essentially, every 15 seconds, it will pick up another video in that folder and start playing it, okay? Until it hits the end and back up to the top. And I've got it set to random, so it's not always the same, all right? And obviously, I'm muting the audio because I don't want that to conflict with the selected item video. But the reason why I mention this is I can also, just for grins, I can use another video mirror. And I'm just going to place it here for the time being. And instead of picking selected item video as the source, which I could do, all right, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pick the user-defined video. So now, if I wanted to create a reflection of this user-defined video, which ultimately will play a multitude of different videos in a cycle, it would automatically update this one as well. All right. So if you wanted a reflection effect for that, you could easily do that. See, as the video changes here, it updates the video here. Anyway, so that's video mirror. Like I said, the only kind of use case I can think of it right now is creating these reflections. All right. So let's see. I'm going to copy the high level parent element here. That was for the platform view. I'm going to select another view. And I'm going to delete and then replace with a revised version with all the reflections in. And repeat the process for these. So it always pays to nest all your elements within a parent. It's a lot easier to simply pick up the parent with multiple elements and paste them into another view, or paste them somewhere else on the view if that's what you're doing. Okay, we've got one more. All right, so that was it. So made a change to the cabinet and replicated the cabinet and the reflection properties across all the different views. I think it looks fairly decent. The other thing that you can do, and if I go to... Actually, I'll take you to this theme that I've been working on, or just playing around with. Let's see. I go to PlayStation 2. I think there's a couple of games in there I don't have videos for. Exactly. Yep. So if you notice the TV at the top right here, if I pick any one of these .hack games, it doesn't show a video, but it shows this animated static screen. And what you can now do, and again, I've got all this encased within a parent. What you can do now is I have a visibility conditioning on this animated GIF, and I can say basically collapse this animated GIF, but make it visible if the selected item video essentially doesn't have a file, it doesn't have a video. All right. So if there is no video for the selected item video, then you want to show this animated GIF. Otherwise, the animated GIF will not be displayed. All right. You may not want a static screen. Maybe you want to do something else, show another image or whatever it may be, or a text message to say video not available. It's entirely up to you. Or do nothing and let BigBox essentially fill that area with I guess a default image, whatever it is, however it's being set up, whatever priority has been set up for that user's machine. It's entirely up to you how you want to handle it. But I just wanted to let you know that that property is now there. So if you want to check to see if the selected item video does indeed have a video, then you have a method to do it. let's see, was there anything else? We covered video mirror. Oh yeah. Let's hop into another. This is where I was just playing with reflection, but that's not what I want to show. What I want to show here, this is the platform view, text filters view, okay? But what we have right here in this little frame is what I'm saying is featuring. I'm featuring, you know, the PS2 is featuring this game. And we have the cover box, or the front 3D box cover. We have community or user rating here. And in the background, I believe there is fan art for the game. So let's zoom in. Yeah, there's something for sure. I've just blurred it. And this is made possible through some new metadata values that BigBox provides. And so if I click on, which one? If I click on the 3D box, you can see here we have all these random game-related metadata fields. And you would be familiar with these. Working within a game view, you would see these where it would simply say genre 1, 2, 3, 4, or game cart back, game cart front. All I've done here is just prefixed everything here with random. All right, so this allows a random game to be selected for a given platform, and again, you can translate the metadata fields into an image, video, an animated GIF, whatever you want to do, or text, and present it on screen. My example here is just purely to show a random game and its rating. And I believe there's a badge in here as well. And I'll get to badges in a second. So let's see, if I pick a different platform, for example, like arcade. Yeah, there you go. So a random game with an arcade, bubble bobble. We have the rating, and we have a badge. And I'm going to scroll down to Atari and then back up to arcade. Let's see how... It's not truly random, is it? If it keeps picking the same... Oh, there you go. So it picked... what is this? Frogger. Let's do this a couple more times. This picks Space Invaders. Again, it's showing a regular controller here. Missile command. Okay, so let's talk about badges now. So we only have one badge, and that badge is joystick support. But let's say I want essentially up to 3 of them, right? So we can have joystick support, trackball support, and what's the other one? Wheel or yoke support. Okay. And I did this wrong here. Whoopsie. What I want to do is add a dock. That was a stack I've just added it to. I want to have the badges displayed horizontally. So let's move that here. Badge 1, badge 2, badge 3. let's make the dock auto-sized, and we want to center, 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 center. All right. And let's see, what is the center one? The center badge is trackball support. Now, I'm going to add visibility conditioning to this, so it's collapsed, but make it visible when badge 1 has a badge. Has badges, yes. So the badge will only be displayed if the logic behind the scenes is saying, hey, this game does support joystick. It does have joystick support, so therefore I have a badge. All right. So I want to make this badge visible. The same is true for which one's this one? So this one, again, this one's going to be collapsed, but only visible when badge 1-1 has a badge. And then same is true on this one when badge 1-2 has a badge. Okay. So I have visibility conditioning for this. So now if I go up and down, back to arcade, let me just double check. So Gorf uses a joystick, which is true. I can't see what game that is from here. Mortal Kombat 2, joystick, yeah. Mortal Kombat 3 is joystick. Again, these are random, so this is going to take a while. Simpsons, joystick. Tubing. Gorf. Yeah, whenever I want it to pop up, it's not going to pop up, is it? Altered Beast. Turtles in Time. Ah, there you go. Marble Madness. It has trackball support. So again, you know, if I finally get to a game like Virtua Racing or another racing type of game, it would have the wheel or yoke support. But I could be, there you go, as luck would have it, Chase HQ. And that's got wheel or yoke support. So let's talk about, so that's how I've specified 3 different badges, but only the appropriate badge will be physically displayed if it matches the criteria. So that way you can see that this game either uses joystick, trackball, or wheel yoke. All right. And I know that was an awful lot of stuff to cover, but random game metadata fields are available on all platform views if you wish to do something very similar to this. If you want this platform to show that, oh, by the way, you know, it features this particular game, you've got all the corresponding metadata fields to support that. Yeah, I'll save it. But I do have a test theme or a demo theme for badge support. And badges are relatively new to BigBox. And there's a couple of things that I can demonstrate here. So again, through the list of games, the one badge that pops up a lot at the moment is unplayed. And now we've got favorite, or we've got nothing. And this makes it very hard for the designer to kind of say, well, how do I want this to look? You know, if visibility conditioning is always on, well, I can help you with that. You can keep visibility conditioning on, but enable all badges. And what this says is, it's essentially faking out every badge to say, yes, they're all activated for this selected game. All right. So it makes your job a lot easier to say, oh, okay, that's essentially how it would be organized. But so, for example, maybe I don't want favorite to be represented as a star. All these icons or images here are the Launchbox defaults. But perhaps, you know, you have a couple of your own images and you want to leverage those instead. That's totally cool. So for favorite, I scroll down through the properties. It says here, okay, the badge is favorite, and it's going to grab the image from this media folder, which is essentially the Launchbox folder. Well, that's maybe not what I want. So I'm going to pick a different one. I've created a folder called Custom Badges. And we can take a look at that. Custom Badges. I've only got one image in there, okay? And I've named it favorite. But I mean, I could call it anything I want. It doesn't matter. And I've selected that one and only image file. And there you go. Favorite is now represented as a heart as opposed to the default of a star. Okay. Now, if you wanted to do it with all of these, obviously you would need to have the appropriate images and just do what I just did and go through them one by one to override them. Okay. That's all you would need to do. And each one of these has got visibility conditioning on, just like I demonstrated earlier. So, for example, broken. I know it's broken because it's this line here. All right. So if the broken badge has been enabled, then I want to make it visible. So by default, they're all collapsed. And that's why when I say when I uncheck enable all badges, they all disappear because they are not meeting the criteria for the selected game of War of the Monsters. So none of these badges are popping up. Okay. All right, so that's badge support. And a couple of other metadata fields that were added to BigBox that I also support. PlayStation 2, yes. So if I add a text field, and I go down to metadata, and I select playtime. So we have playtime in seconds, and then hours, minutes, seconds, and then hours. All right, and I'll cover that in a minute. So if I select the first metadata field, playtime, which I know is playtime in seconds, it's up here. It's very small font. Again, some of these properties, as you alter them, they'll alter it real time on screen, so you can get a feel for what it's truly going to look like for real. And the screen isn't refreshing or reloading. Okay. I'm going to put that there. And I know I have one game in the PlayStation 2 list where I was testing this value out. I believe it was one of the SSX games. Tricky. Okay, that makes sense. I do like that game. So this was playtime, and then you've got playtime in hours, minutes, seconds. Okay. And then you have playtime in hours. Okay, so it all depends on how you wish to represent that value. And I've given you three options there. And again, like I said, these are relatively new values that BigBox are allowing us to leverage. All right, I'm going to discard that. I don't really need to save that with this particular view. And I think I've got two more UI elements to cover. So we're going to go back to Arcade. And the system options screen or view. And it's right over here. User-defined audio. This allows you to essentially play an MP3, a WAV file, what's another format? FLAC file. Good example if you want some, I don't know, some music or what have you to play on the system options screen, because it's system options. There's not much to really be displayed there. You can do that, and that's what I've done here. So I don't know if you can hear this at all. I'm not sure if this is coming through. But as you can see, you can alter the volume of that file, and I've got it set to loop. Actually, thinking about it, I may have actually muted all audio, so let me just double check. Yeah, so there you go. Bring the volume down, hopefully. Whoops. Bring the volume down on the UI element. See? All right, so that is user-defined audio. And the audio file, I kind of briefly mentioned it, but audio file types that are allowed within the theme creator now are WAV or .wav, .mp3, and .flac. Okay. And actually, as we're talking about file types, images. You know, for images, typically have been hard-coded to only allow .png. Well, I've opened that up now, so it's .png, bitmap, JPEG, and therefore all the metadata images and stuff that have been downloaded via BigBox or wherever you consumed or wherever you downloaded this content for your games and platforms, that's going to be in a multitude of different formats. Well, they'll now display within the community theme creator. All right. So I support multiple file types now for images, and the same is true for video. Video was hard-coded before for MP4. Now I support MKV. So again, depending on what types of files you've got out there, the chances are it will work just fine. What was the other? It's going to be hard to demonstrate this, but there is another UI element, and I went into a game marquee view, and we have a video element specifically for Marquee. It's called Marquee Video. Now it's not playing anything at the moment, and not likely to. I'll explain why. So if I open Media in File Explorer, which is not really where I want to go, but if I go to Launchbox and go to Videos, and let's go to Arcade, you can see within the Arcade folder there's a subfolder called Marquee, and there's nothing in it. All right, so I'm going to cheat. I'm going to copy, I don't know, Asteroid, Altered Beast. All right, so I've copied Altered Beast and I've placed it into the Marquee subfolder within the Arcade folder. Okay, let's pick Arcade, and we're in the game marquee view, and there you go. Lo and behold, Altered Beast video is playing in the marquee view. All right. Now, to be honest, I haven't really done a great deal of testing for marquee view because I don't have a cabinet. I do have a second screen, so I'm going to use the next couple of days to put the marquee view through its paces. I know the BigBox team have recently made changes to try and improve marquee views, the content within marquee views. So I need to and I haven't spent any time whatsoever looking at what they've done. So I just need a couple of days to see what they've done and see how these published marquee views from the community theme creator, how that interacts with their changes. All right, and I'll make tweaks if I need to. All right. Hence, that's why I'm not releasing this build right now. I just need that extra time. Let's see. Was there anything else? So that was the marquee video UI element, and that kind of concludes all the new UI elements that I've added. Let's see. I've added some new text formatting. I'm in Arcade. I guess this will be okay. Yeah, why not? So if I click on the wheel, I'll need to change the font because this font is only in uppercase. So let's pick something else. And I did say I've added two more text formatting options, and I can say uppercase the first letter, and there you go. Only the word altered has the A capitalized on the first character. Everything else is lowercase. Or you can say uppercase the first letter of every word. So it's entirely up to you how you want to do it. All right. So that is a new addition. Oh yeah. So one user on the community, Rob G, he wanted these text formatting options, and there was one other thing he wanted too, and that was last play date. Okay. All right. Well, as I don't really play games on my laptop, let's go back to PlayStation 2 because SSX, Tricky, I had actually played. So we can test this with that game. So I'm going to add last played date. I forgot I had done this. I'd done this a while back. All right, last played date. And let's pick SSX Tricky. There you go. We have something in there, but again, it's terribly small. Let's auto size this just to let's change the font size. Look at that. Okay. He wanted some time formatting. So last play day to have some time in here as well. All right. And you can do a combination of two. So I mean, you could say, so for example, I'm just going to copy this. All right. But the format on this one, maybe I want it to be that. You know, at 10:11 p.m. It's entirely up to you how you want to do it. So anyway, I've added time formatting properties here. And again, that was requested by Rob G on the forum. I think that's really it. I'm sure I'm missing something. But these were the biggies for sure that I've covered. You know, there's an awful lot of fixes I've applied as well, but you know, these are the new features, and that should keep you guys busy. I know the zooming in and zooming out, that will be very, very useful, especially if you're working within multiple nested elements and you want to be kind of bang on, depending on what you're doing. You know, you want to be right on the money. Again, you know, you can zoom right in. Or maybe it's a case of seeing how the shadow is aligned. Again, you know, you can zoom right in, take a look, edit the shadow. If I take a look at the wheel, does the wheel have an effect? It does. You know, I can affect the shadow right here. Maybe I don't like the depth. You know, again, you can do it while you're zoomed in. It's entirely up to you with real-time changes. Okay? So they'll will all help. Yeah, I know there were a couple of other things. Here you go. I've remembered. Text lists. Because I had done so much work in the text lists. Here we go. Just real quick. I click on the wheel, and first off, I've added a new style. Okay, let's bring that in a little bit. So it's entirely up to you what you do with this. You can either use the code as is, this style, or you can browse the code and create your custom variant of that. But the way I've coded it is the foreground selected color, the foreground here, affects the animated border as well. So I've added a new style. But I've also added, let's see, if I click on the wheel again, pick on, it's one of these, I can't remember. Maybe it's 4. Yeah, 4. We have a background color that goes the full width of the list control. And if you notice, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater is real close to the edges there of the text list. And let me see. I've got it. I think I've got it set to wrap. Yes, I do. And let's just say I didn't. Let's say I had no wrap. And now you see the text kind of butting up. Let's say I want trimming. Okay. But maybe I want more of a margin. So I could make it 10 and 10, for example. And you can do that above and below as well. So 10 and 10. So now you can alter spacing, if you will, within your text list, just by leveraging margins. All right. So that's another set of new properties I've added specific to text lists. All right. I think that's it. I'm sure it isn't, but I think that's it. And if I've forgotten something, then I can always reach out to Farron and have him cover it within one of his live streams. Okay, but I believe that concludes the 2.3 overview. It does anything that you publish from this build can only truly function on the latest version of BigBox. And when I say the latest version, the latest beta release. Okay, so if we look at actually, I don't know why I closed that. So for example, if I publish this arcade theme, it's published. Let me just delete that video from the Marquee folder. I don't need that. If I go to my themes folder within BigBox, and we have this arcade 2_5, okay, I'll have a look at the views, and I'll just pick, I don't know, one view, doesn't really matter. All of them will be the same. I have this piece of text in here. So it's saying that this theme, the minimum that it can run on BigBox, the minimum version of BigBox must be 12.7 beta 4, all right, or later, obviously. So, you know, if you've downloaded, when I make 2.3 available, you download it, you start publishing, you start uploading it to the forum, and then people start sending in comments. Well, I tried your theme. It doesn't look exactly what you posted in the forum. I see reflections and I see all this, and I don't get that when I'm running on my machine. That is probably why. that user is not running this version or later of BigBox, and the features that have been added or implemented into this build are not compatible with that earlier version that they're running. All right, so I'm just letting you know. So that was a new line of code that I added in here when it generates these views. I thought it might help with troubleshooting. Okay, I believe that's it. That's it for 2.3. Like I said, I just need a little bit more time over the next couple of days just to take a look at Marquee views and understand some of the changes that the BigBox team has put in and how that, kind of gels with my software and hopefully align and benefits everyone. That's the goal. All right. So like I said, hopefully in less than a week this will be out in the forum. So until then, take care everyone, and speak to you guys soon.